UAE go all out for a Tadej Pogacar stage win in the first of 5 consecutive GC stages on offer. This was the mountaintop finish up Grand Colombier. They did this in the Tour de France in 2020, but it was a harder stage before then. No real climbs of note before this climb today. 17 Ks at 7% average, but it's a little bit undulating in parts, flatter in the last 5 Ks. Bastille Day, FDJ or French riders would want to be in the break, other riders would put their hand up maybe, but Pogacar would surely marshal the troops to monitor who got in the break and try and make sure a catchable break would go. And initially that looked like the case. UAE were to the front, a break of 3 is going, no problem. They don't chase this, easy break to manage, but then it starts to get a bit out of control. That Cavagna one gets brought back, Perez in the nice trickle or helmet, and UAE is still there with Trenton. He's still monitoring things, and Total and Israel and Cofidis getting up the road with a few riders. That's totally fine. But the jumping keeps going, and Ineos start to get involved. Right, Moritz, Van Hills, Oliveira, Ternison, and now there's one UAE rider, and they're in the middle of the pack, boxed in the first 4 rows. And it's a free-for-all at this point. Everybody's jumping up the road, and here the break forms, and yeah, just got a bit out of control. It was too late to move up there, and a break of 20 strong riders went, with many with multiple teammates, strong rouleurs like Case Bol, Pacher, Sturven, Bettiol, Latour, Zimmerman, Van Hills, Oliveira, Ternison, Wright, Moritz, Sharmig, Kwiatkowski, Asgren, Uhl, Tejada, James Shaw, and Adrien Petit. So there's a lot of teams like Intermarché and EF that are just going to sacrifice a rouleur before the climb to rip this gap open. It gets blocked up, and then UAE start chasing at 1 minute, 1:10. I'm like, this is going to be a tough old day against a committed break of 20 strong guys on the flat. And listen, they keep the gap stable with 3 guys, Langen, Trenton, and Bjerg, pretty well, actually, for the first hour. From 100 to about 55 Ks, really impressive. And Pogacar, obviously wants to go for the stage win. Jumbo-Visma not interested. They were all in the wheels all day, not contributing. But the gap starts to go out to about 2:30, and they've already been working super hard. They get over the warm-up climb where the intermediate sprint was, and the break just absolutely rips it. Bettiol, Ternison, the guys with Zimmerman and Shaw, the climbers in their group, they just shred this descent and the valley and take it out from 2 minutes to 3:30 to 3:59 to 4 minutes at a point, whilst it's still just Bjerg before the Grand Colombier coming up. So the break played it really, really smart. The gap was brought down about 30 seconds with the other GC teams, Ineos, Bahrain, Jumbo coming to the front. So it was only down to about 3:50. And here's the Grand Colombier. You can see it's undulating from about 4.5 Ks to 1.5 Ks to go. It's not that hard. In fact, there's 3 consecutive Ks at 4% average, which is not hard at all. And so it's not a climb, especially after an easy day, to expect big gaps. Pacher attacks because draft doesn't exist on Bastille Day. And it's Langen pacing for UAE for quite a few Ks, and that gap doesn't change with him pacing. There's a chase group behind Pacher of 3 climbers, Tejada, Shaw, and Maxim Van Hills. They immediately have dropped Kwiatkowski, or maybe he's just riding to power and not trying to surge at the beginning of a 45, 47-minute climb, and the gap's still not moving too much, so Soler takes over. We're 3 Ks in, UAE have gained nothing, but Soler's been in the wheels and he's a better climber. But he doesn't move the gap too much either. Kwiatkowski, though, in the Lanterne de Colombier, we see him coming back. He's this guy, the trio about to catch Pacher in these twists in the snake, and they catch him. Van Hills goes past. He was doing a lot of work. Tejada and Shaw also relaying. The gap has gone down about 15 seconds because the top time actually froze. It was finessing me for a while. And Kwiatkowski, as he comes back, hits the guys straight away in the bends. They didn't know what was coming. Gives them the look, see you later. Michał Kwiatkowski goes solo with still 11.5 Ks to go, and Soler can't bring him back anymore. In fact, Kwiatkowski starts gaining a little bit on Soler. He's absolutely trucking. You see, there's fast sections here. He's doing 40, and Soler's cooked. He's just done a steep section. Nobody's really dropping because the draft advantage is so high, and eventually Großschartner takes over. 7.5 Ks left, at least for the breakaway, longer for the GC group. Martin's struggling. Großschartner does put 30 seconds into the gap pretty quickly, but then Kwiatkowski just holds it stable again. So there's a bit of a conference here between UAE Emirates, and I'd like to hear below, what do you think? Micah says Felix, but then he must say, I think he says speed up, because the gap goes down another 15 seconds, but then Pogacar speaks to Micah, And Micah accelerates forwards as if he's about to take over, because I think Pogacar's like, we're not going to catch Kwiatkowski if we don't up the pace here. But then Micah goes ahead of him, and then Großschartner accelerates ahead of Micah again. So I don't know what was going on. And then Pogacar's on the radio here. I don't know. Again, let me know what you think was going on. I'm pretty sure it's Pogacar saying we need to go faster because we're not going to catch Kwiatkowski. And that's what he's sort of gesturing to Adam Yates as well, he was hanging around the back a bit at times as well. It's a bit strange. But it must have been that, because another 12 seconds goes out. But you see, it's flatter again for Kwiatkowski. And now we have a battle between 60-kilo Rafael Micah and Kwiatkowski on a 4% 3K section. And the gap goes out again. So, of course, Kwiatkowski, absolutely amazing legs today. Brilliant performance, goes without saying. But then Adam Yates attacked. And this was the sort of do-or-die moment where I thought, okay, Yates is going to launch it here for Pogacar, but he attacks, and then Sepp Kuss jumps, and then Pogacar jumps after him. So this was somewhat curious. I thought Yates would just pace super hard to try and bring back Kwiatkowski. Maybe they decided it was too late. I couldn't really figure out this move, and then Pogacar just bridges across. And we do see splits in the GC group now, but Pidcock comes back with Hindley. Rodriguez comes back with Simon Yates. Gaudu, Menkes and Bilbao wouldn't come back. So Yates does slow down a little bit too, and it levels off quite a lot before the last 700 metres, which pitches up, which Kwiatkowski was about to hit, managed it with no problems. His second Tour de France stage win in 4 years, and this time solo, holding the whole UAE team at bay throughout the stage. But back in the GC group, there were still bonus seconds on offer if they could catch Van Gils and Shaw, and Pogacar launches a huge attack with 450 metres to go, trying to use his explosivity, and actually gaps Vingegaard off the wheel this time. He wasn't able to do it last year, but at the end of Grand Colombier, and if he could catch James Shaw up the road, it would mean he would take the 4 bonus seconds, with Vingegaard taking none. Does so at 150, can't catch Van Gils, but an 8-second gain for Pogacar halves his gap on GC to Vingegaard. And Pogacar looking very, very good. But Kwiatkowski wins the stage, huge for him after winning Amstel Gold Race last year. Ahead of Van Gils and Pogacar, Vingegaard, Pidcock, Hindley, Shaw, Tejada, both Yates brothers. Small gaps, as you'd expect, with a really, really easy stage before this final climb.
We just didn't want to miss any big breakaway. Like pretty much every day, we were trying to go in the big moves, because you never really know when people are moving on the flat who actually will enter that breakaway. Maybe someone from the GC, maybe there will be no one happy to chase today was UAE, but I think they just let too many guys in the front, and I just found probably the best legs I ever had in my life. So yeah, I didn't believe that's possible, but yeah, here I am. Yeah.
In terms of GC, now into single digits. Pogacar gaining step by step on Jonas Vingegaard. Jouplant tomorrow, huge mountain stage down to Morzine. Can't wait to watch that. I'll have the recap of that for you tomorrow. Till then, ciao.